to another edition of Good Evening Legon with me, Pakwesi Schandorf. Now, for the records, Ghana has recorded some cases of the dreaded COVID-19 virus, and significantly, the situation has thrown the country into some level of unrest and significant mayhem. Here at the University of Ghana, proceedings have effectively halted. The university has gone on a close, and students are no longer on campus. Now, for this very evening, I have with me here the President of the Student Representative Council, Mr. Isaac Ajiman, together with the Public Relations Officer. We'll be discussing some of the emerging issues and getting some clarity on some of the developments here on campus so far. Now, welcome, gentlemen, to Good Evening Legon.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. President, quickly, we gather that as of now, students have gone home following the directive of the university's management in tandem with the guidelines from the president. Ever since this happened, what has been the state of campus generally?
Okay, to give a background to this issue, the case that was confirmed on University of Ghana campus involved a lady who is a pharmacy student who came from Dallas, Texas, and reported to class. And she happens to be a third-year pharmacy student, and of course, after which she showed some symptoms and reported to the hospital, where she was diagnosed of COVID-19 virus. This resulted in the school making a pronouncement of close of lectures, after which the president, he also issued a directive that all schools should be closed. So the aftermath of the closure of the schools is that there are close to no students on campus actually, with it and the streets almost being like a ghost town as it stands now.
Right, Mr. President. So the student who was infected, who was confirmed in that regard, what has happened thereafter? What has been the reaction of management to that very development?
Okay, so I would say that the University of Ghana Emergency Response Team that is in charge, directly in charge of cases of COVID-19 on campus, is working closely with the National Contact Tracing Center to actually, trace the various students who are members of a class who she may have limited or no contact with. But for the university to actually, be sure that they are not sending people outside the university who might be carriers of the virus, they have accepted to actually keep them under observation, which it is good to say that the closest person to the said lady who was first tested turned out to be negative to the virus. So as such, I think the experts' advice coming in is that all other students stand a minimal risk of even having the virus, since the closest person who has even been with a lady for quite some time after her return tested negative to the virus.
Right. So, Mr. President, effectively, what you are putting across is that the lady who tested positive from the University of Ghana is being monitored, I should say, and the rest of her classmates are under strict observation.
Yes.
Right. So it is not the case that Jane Nelson Aka Hall has become a quarantine center for confirmed victims of the virus.
No. And let me state it on record that any attempt to actually make Jane Nelson Aka Hall a national quarantine center will be resisted with the topmost force by the Student Representative Council. The people who are at Nelson now are students of the University of Ghana, and these people had limited or little contact with the said lady.
Right.
But to actually make it easier for them to go home, and then these people were already residents of the various halls. Even before they were moved to Nelson, some of them were in Sabah, Legon Hall, TF Bani, some were even residents of Nelson, and even Kwapon Hall as well. So these were people who were already residents of the various halls. And to make sure that they go out without encouraging communal spread, that is why they are being kept there to be closely monitored and observed. If anyone should develop anything, the person is quickly moved to the demarcated zone for quarantine. That is the bungalows that have been set up. And of course, these are difficult times, and so these measures have been put in place as such.
Right. So let me come to you, the Public Relations Officer of the SRC, Mr. Daniel Oserueko. So if it is the case that the student at J. Nelson Hall, if J. Nelson Hall is not a national quarantine center, how come we have the news all across being spread by students that J. Nelson Hall has now been converted to a national quarantine center? That is an issue because your office has not communicated in that regard. I want to find out what measures are you putting in place to ensure that the communication in these times are more accurate and void of empty speculations.
Well, thank you so much, Schandorf. I think that since this issue came up, one of the challenges that we've been dealing with is the spread of some information that are not substantiated by some individuals that sometimes you find difficult to trace their identity. In most cases, some of these news that they spread are nothing near minutiae, which of course exacerbates the situation. And it's important to state that some of the information that they put out there, they suffer from paucity in accuracy. That is to say that the information that they put there are not accurate. Yet they put them. But one thing that we have done over the period is that to always communicate to students, to the extent that we've moved from communicating using our normal WhatsApp template to communicate on the SLC official letterhead. So from now, what we are going to do is that any information that are coming from the SLC means that it's coming from the letterhead, and I will encourage students to trust information that is coming from management or the SLC in relation to this matter. All other informations that may be coming from other websites or blogs, they may want to advertise their blogs, or they may want to have the views.
The hype.
Yeah, the hype.
Right.
So they will just chance on information and do not verify them and run to the public for consumption. So what I want to encourage the students of the University of Ghana and the general public is that all information that are accurate from the SLC will come on the SLC letterhead or from the management.
Right, sure. So, Mr. President, so effectively we have established that J. Nelson is not a national quarantine center. After those students are in observation, after they have been moved, what next for the rest of the students who come back to their various
so as an SRC, our position to all this is that this is where it comes in, that we would want government with the University of Ghana management to put in place measures before we even give heed for students to come back to these rooms. First and foremost, we would ask that a complete disinfection of the room is done. A thorough one, of course, which will be inspected by experts to know if there are existing viruses that are in those rooms.
That is at J. Nelson Hall.
And then rooms which were given out to these students, if necessary, mattresses that they slept on should be changed for the new students who would come in. As an SRC, if need be, if students who have lost their things as a result of people being placed in these rooms need to also these students need to be reimbursed so to ensure that everyone is at peace, because it's their facility, it's their rooms that are being used in this manner, of course. We all appreciate the fact that this is an urgent need. These are difficult times, so it's just supposed that there are certain measures that might not be fit everyone's agreement, but it might happen. And so at this juncture, these are some of the things that we are in the lookout for, and we as an SRC will press on to ensure that it's done before we give heed to our students who actually come and occupy these rooms.
So, Mr. President, so effectively before students return to take up their residences again, what you are saying is that you advocate for, as it were, effective disinfection of these rooms before the students return to their beds. Now, let me take your very final words in this very regard, your final words to the student populace, but quickly, a quick one from the PRO, and then you would conclude for us. Mr. PRO.
Well, my final words to students in the general public is that let us all be calm and not spread fear. Let us all try as much as possible within our remit to make sure that we spread peace to everyone, because these are times and we should understand some of the measures that are taken, and we should cooperate with the SLC and management at large.
Right, thank you. Now, Mr. President.
I would want to say that even though we might all have our suggestions, I've heard on media with people suggesting that even UGMSC should have been used, which the experts also provided a counter opinion to these things. I would say that at this juncture, these are difficult times. You see, first and foremost, those people who are kindly announcing are our students. They are part of the 40,000 student population. It could be me, it could be you. That is why we shouldn't, as a standard, this is the time they even need us.
There should not be any kind of
I am in constant contact with some people who I know there, and it's like, even though the people are, calm and all that because they know they haven't been exposed to the virus, they feel stigmatized, they feel being pushed away with a video that was circulated and all that. This is the time to actually stand with our brothers and sisters. This is the time to make it easier for them to actually, whatever they are doing is to prevent communal spread. So they are also contributing their quota. So what is our contribution to ensure that Ghana as a whole can actually overcome this? Because when you look at the stories that are coming from Italy, believe you me, it's scary. Yeah. I just read from the news that 647 people died just today. If we allow these people to go back to the community and we encourage communal spread, you might be in the same community with this said person. I might be in the same community. So please and please again, as University of Ghana students, this is the time for us to all come together. This is the time that we take the toughest decision. This is the time that we need to stand our grounds to ensure that we contain the spread of the COVID-19 virus. Because believe you me, if it escalates, we might not be here to even make any pronouncement to that effect. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so we've been speaking to the President of the Student Representative Council, and the Public Relations Officer in that regard. So to the general student populace, I think this is what we must all understand, that J. Nelson is not a national quarantine center. It has only been designated to accommodate the students who were close to the victim here in Legon, only for the purposes of observation in that regard. Thank you very much for watching this edition. I'll come your way next week. My name is Schandorf.